Welcome in, Nebraska high school sports fans, for another edition of the Prep Zone podcast. I'm Dillon Adams, back again with our co-hosts here, Mike Patterson and Stu Pospisil. How are you guys today?
Good.
Doing
It's
good,
Tuesday.
Dylan.
We're
Yeah,
just getting the week underway.
Yes, ready to go.
rolling right along here. So we're coming off PAT. We're coming off both our teams 0-2 starts, but we're hanging in there.
I like your Vikings' chances better than my Bears. Looking even more dysfunctional than last year, if that's possible. And Fields is drawing even more heat, and so's the head coach. Which, I can see the head coach getting the heat. But and they're playing at Kansas City on Sunday, so soon to be 0-3.
Doesn't get any easier.
Nobody's out of contention in the NFC North.
Exactly.
The Bears are.
They're only one game out, PAT.
All right, I'll keep it positive.
Come on, you're supposed to have hope.
Supposed to have. Hey, I'm a Royals fan.
If you can just beat those Green Bay Packers, then things would turn around, I think. So.
You know, Lovie Smith got fired because he couldn't beat the Packers, and he was like 10-6. So, they better start beating the Packers. Let's put it that way. And maybe a few other teams would be nice too.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna recap Week 4 today, and we might as well start with kind of that game of the week: number 2 versus number 3. Millard South took it to Gretna. I think the final score, what was it,
38-7, and Millard South looks set up for the next couple years. The sophomore group, you never know how youngsters are going to come in and play, but Millard South, Ty Wisdom, has put a lot of confidence and trust in them, especially at quarterback with Jet Tamala, and they're off 4-0. Defense. Can't forget about the Patriots' defense, because Dylan Kuhl came up with 2 picks. One he took back for a pick 6, also recovered a fumble. Gretna, if I remember right, had 142 yards or 133 yards of offense for the whole game. And if Millard South had played probably a better schedule to that point, especially starting with Millard West, Gretna really hadn't, until prep the week before, and they kind of escaped there in double overtime. They had not seen a team like Millard South, and I think Gretna will, bounce back and have a 6, 7, 8 win season still. But it was very impressive for the Patriots in Gretna on Friday night, and you had another one. You had Gabe Pruka stepping in for Nolan Feller, who's got a little leg injury, maybe out a week or two. Stepped in, gave them, a workmanlike performance in the backfield, so that it wasn't all throwing by the Patriots. And they're October 13th, Friday the 13th is the date now circled in. You can circle it in red because both teams are red. Millard South and West Side.
I got to look at that Millard South defense a couple weeks earlier against Elkhorn South, and they were just dominating, and Kuhl had a TD return on an interception that night too. So I don't think anybody thought the Patriots, just a couple games into the season, were going to be able to dominate Elkhorn South the way they did, but they've shown that they're for real, and like you said, that's the big game coming up in a few weeks, West Side and Millard South.
West Side's going to have to go out. They're going to host North Platte, then they go out to Kearney, and Millard South has probably a district title game a week from Thursday at Lincoln East. That Millard South West Side's a crossover game, so they're not in the same district, and the NCAA, that's a great matchup to have as a when you have odd teams in a district, you have to cross over. It's kind of like Major League Baseball, where you have the interleague play because you got 15 on each side. Right. You wonder when they're going to just go to 16 and.
Where's that game at? Is it at West Side or at Buell?
I'm trying to think where I watched it. I think it's at Buell this year because I watched it at West Side, and it went to overtime last year. And that was after West Side had lost to North Platte, then beat Kearney in that goofy game where we had to finish at Papio South because if the lights had stayed on, it might have blown up the plaza area at West Side's Phelps Field, and we got that game in at Papio South. But, we talk about Kearney, too. Kearney is one sitting there. Good win last week over Bellevue West.
Just have their number. The teacher's
Kick and a
number.
pick, I think, was our headline. Yeah, fourth win in 3 years over the Thunderbirds. This time it was 16-13, and 3 field goals for Kearney, and then a touchdown.
Interception to end there.
Right.
On the last drive for Kalen. And
Bellevue West is not the team that we thought, nor why I'm thinking what Mike Huffman, their coach, thought at this point. And they're going to have to do some regrouping. Davon Hall is, likely out for the season with his elbow, and their running game is spotty. Certainly, their defense needs some shoring up. I don't count them out, but they're going to have a game with Gretna in a couple weeks. That's going to tell us a lot about the Thunderbirds' postseason hopes, aspirations, and maybe where they fit in.
I think maybe Bellevue West was reeling a little bit from the beatdown West Side gave them the week before, and then to go out on the road, that's a tough ask.
Against the nemesis, too.
Right.
One that is not afraid of Bellevue West from past results.
it's funny you guys talk about the travel, though, with Metro teams kind of traveling outside of the area. I'm from South Dakota. We had to travel an hour or two for every single game, but yeah, it just affects these guys a little different.
There's some Metro teams that don't like traveling to Bellevue or to Millard.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, Scotts Bluff, going to Frederick, Colorado, down by Longmont, is a shorter trip than going to North Platte for them, and that's their next closest opponent to when it's in Class A or what have you. I mean, it's just crazy the mentality, of Metro teams, especially hitting the road.
We were driving from Mitchell to Pierre, Mitchell to Rapid City. I mean, 3-4 hour drives all the time. So it's definitely different around here, for sure.
The home of the Corn Palace.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
home of the Colonels.
South Dakota, you've got Rapid City, you've got Sioux Falls, you've got like Mitchell and Pierre in the middle.
Sioux Falls is a short road trip, yeah.
Yeah, their geography is even worse than Nebraska's because you got 2 population centers on either end of the state, and
Yep.
Scotts Bluff and Gering aren't exactly the metropolis.
Exactly. East River, West River is a
Yep.
real thing, though, for
Yep.
sure. So, but getting back real quick into the Patriots, I mean, Stu, you had them number 8 preseason. They were 6-5 last year. I mean, it's just crazy how far they have come through these first 4 weeks. They beat both their Millard rivals pretty handily this Gretna win, and they also had the Elkhorn South win. So, yeah, I mean, that's a tough schedule, and they're sitting here 4-0, and people are even saying, hey, might want to put them above West Side. Can't do that yet.
I haven't heard that said, and I will not put them ahead of West Side.
I don't think they want to be ahead of West Side.
No.
They want to be in that little bit of underdog spot when they play.
Let's just see how it
13th.
plays out on October 13th and see if both teams are sitting there at 7-0 at that point.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you mentioned Coach Wisdom there, Stu, because you might get overlooked just a little bit because of the great play of the players. But Andy Means had such a great run there as Millard South's coach, and obviously he's done a really nice job so far taking over.
Had been on the staff at Millard South previously. I had a couple coaching stops down in Arizona. Came back home. He's a Lexington kid. He's got family already here, so it was a logical move for him if offered, and he's doing a nice job. Offense is fun to watch, and their defense is quick, and he says it's with energy and violence, and
like that.
they pop people.
Yeah.
But this week, guys, we've had some great games. This week, it's a little slim out there.
Yeah. We're going into district play, and you wrote over the weekend, expect some blowouts this week.
Best game on Friday night in Class A, as far as records and teams I haven't seen yet. We're going to be making the trek up to South Sioux City to see Millard West. Millard West is now number 3 after the Gretna loss, only the 1-point loss to Millard South. South Sioux 4-0, certainly untested, but Troy Palmer is a very good running back, wrestler for South Sioux City. We're going to see just what the Cardinals are made of, and a close game, if they can pull it off, could pull them into the rankings. I've got 2 teams that are saying below 500 in the top 10, and probably a few more squawks with Omaha Creighton Prep at 1-4. But you know what? I watched Kentucky volleyball on Sunday night against Nebraska. They're now 2-6 or 2-7, and they're 21st in the nation.
Right.
So, it's how you play as much as who you play.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked me, were there any 3-1 teams I really considered? No. I mean, Lincoln East is sitting there at 3-1. I want to see them against Millard South, in 2 weeks. They've got Dash Bauman, who I think's a Wyoming commit, and Jet Worthley at quarterback. That's going to be a very important game, especially for Lincoln football.
Mm-hmm.
And Lincoln East has had, a lot of these kids you've seen in Legion Ball.
Right.
And East actually won the All Sports Award this last year. So it's a good cycle of athletes at Lincoln East. And, right now the Spartans look to be the cream of Lincoln's crop.
Worthley, a Michigan baseball commit.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usually the catcher for the Spartans. Carter Mick just committed to the Huskers. So, yeah, they got some athletes down there at Lincoln East, obviously. And as we all know, they went all the way to the final in the Legion World Series this past summer. So
Kirkland team. Yeah,
yep,
absolutely.
and a lot of those players will be back. So
I'm going to run through the top 10 and
Let's do it.
the class leaders. West Side, Millard South, Millard West, Omaha North. Omaha North's kind of in a part of the schedule here where they're going to probably be playing a lot of second stringers. They're kind of soft right now until they get to Grand Island and Elkhorn South at season's end. Kearney's 5th, Gretna dropped to 6, Elkhorn South 7, Carson Rauner, I think only threw once last week. Not sure if that was by design or the second string got more time. So I hope that Rauner's not hurt again. He was hurt against Millard South.
Right, went out early in that game. Yeah.
So, but they've got 2 quarterbacks they can call on. So that's a positive for the Storm. Bellevue West 8, Prep 9, Lincoln East 10. Class B, Bennington, Elkhorn North 1-2, still undefeated. Third undefeated is Waverly. They're saying 4th behind Scott, who had a really solid win with Bennett Turman coming back, blasted Elkhorn 45-0 last week. That takes a little luster off of Bennington and Elkhorn this week. C1, Boone Central and Wahoo sitting 1-2 undefeated. Adams Central 7th undefeated. Sydney undefeated, not ranked yet. In C2, we got a battle brewing on a week from Friday night. Norfolk Catholic goes to Battle Creek. They're saying 1-2. Fillmore Central is 5. Hastings St. Cecilia, good win over Wahoo Newman.
Yep.
Saying they're in 6th. Then 8-man 1, North Platte St. Patrick still heads the ratings. South Loop tops 8-man 2, and Arthur County sits atop 6-man.
St. Cecilia knocked off Newman and Connor Booth. I think he had 4 scores in that game, and they still were able to pull that out. So definitely a good win there.
Definitely.
Real quick, going back to Class A, do we just have the 4 undefeateds left? Do you have 3 ranked, and then South Sioux is 4-0?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that will be good. I mean, I'm kind of interested in that Millard West game just to see. Last week they held it was 20-7, I believe, against Creighton Prep, and the Jays' only score was that kickoff return. So we'll see if Troy Palmer can run the ball a little bit. They can limit the possessions up there and maybe keep it within a couple of scores.
Well, and again, it's Metro team traveling. South Sioux, I'm eager to see. They've got brand new turf field, track up there. They want to do some more upgrades, so I think they're feeling like they are going to be sitting strong in Class A the way it sits right now. And they've had a great basketball facility for some time with the mini dome, and now they're bringing their outdoor facilities up as well, and that's nice to see.
props to Kirk Peterson, the Millard West coach, for having the Wildcats. Didn't they lose by a point maybe the opening weekend to Millard South? Really close, and we all know how good Millard South is now, and they've really bounced back nicely. So
with that win over Omaha North, winning with a 45-yard field goal on the last play of the game, I mean, that's Tristan Alvano-like.
It really is. Yep.
West Side / Nebraska reference there.
Yes.
So, okay, I think that about wraps it up for the football side. Should we run down some volleyball rankings here quick, PAT?
Sure. Let's touch on what we saw last week, Dylan. And the Lincoln Public Schools Invitational was the big tournament this past weekend always draws a lot of ranked teams, and Papio South, our top-ranked team, managed to navigate that 6-0 mark down there. They defeated Lincoln Southwest in the final. Southwest hadn't lost yet. So, yeah, the Titans are 18-0, ranked 7th nationally. And, they were tested a few times down there in that tournament, but they managed to prevail. They're playing a couple of freshmen, so they're a younger team than they have been in the past when they've won some of those past recent titles. So, yeah, Papio South is the top dog right now. Let's run down quick our top 10. Papio South 1. Southwest is number 2. They slipped ahead of Omaha Skutt. Skutt's number 3. Millard West 4. Norris 5. Norris also had a really nice run in that tournament. They finished 3rd. Lincoln East 6. Elkhorn North 7. Grand Island 8. The Islanders also a team that had a nice run in the tournament. Papio 9 and Westside 10, and our number ones in each class. Papio South in A, Skutt in B, Grand Island Central Catholic still unbeaten in C1. Lincoln Lutheran unbeaten in C2. They have a 60-match win streak. They won state last year, went undefeated. They won their last 6 the previous year, so they're off to a really nice start again for Coach Sue Ziegler, and I'm actually going to see them tonight, Tuesday night. They're going to be playing up at Fremont Bergen, which was the C2 runner-up last year. So they'll be playing in a triangular with Wahoo Newman. So I'll be up in Fremont for that tonight.
Should be a good match.
Yeah, Amherst in D1 and Overton in D2. So, and I mentioned where I'm going to be Tuesday. I think I'm planning to be at Gretna East is at Bennington, 2 of our top teams in Class B. That's Thursday night. And big tournament this weekend's the Allison Weston Invitational at Papio, and it could be a rematch of Papio South and Lincoln Southwest because they're both in that tournament. So
that could be fun. Yeah,
rolling right along with volleyball.
Grand Island, have they kind of come out of nowhere?
They were a little bit unexpected this year. They have 2 really good hitters, and they've done a nice job, and they really haven't been too much of a factor since the days of Bill Root coaching them. So they've had some hard times recently. Kind of the top teams in Grand Island have been Central Catholic and Northwest, but Grand Island High really has been playing well. I think their only losses at the LPS tournament were against Southwest and Papio South.
Well, they took Papio South to 3, right?
Right, yeah. 29-27.
I mean, that's going to be a huge confidence builder
no kidding.
29-27, one of those sets.
For a rebuilding program.
Right. But, like I said, Norris and Grand Island really made a nice move in the ratings basically because of a 16-team tournament in Lincoln is one of the toughest of the season. So if you can survive that one and play well, you're really on the right track.
But, yeah, like you mentioned, Stu, I mean, that's a top 10 nationally ranked team that you're taking to as far as they can go, as far as they want there.
Right.
And right to the end. So, but, yeah, senior Lauren Maddox, she's still leading the way for the Titans, led them in kills in that championship match. And she picked a great school, too. Go Yotes.
Yeah. Southwest won the first set. It was best of 3 because it was an invite. Papio South bounced back to win the second set, and then it was Medic time in that third and final set. She had 8 of her 11 kills, and the Titans won. I think they won 25-22. It was still close. That was the second straight year that Southwest has gone into that final undefeated, and the second straight year that they've been defeated. So we'll see what happens to the Silverhawks the rest of the way, because I'm sure that's going to be more fuel for their fire, and maybe even this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm going to utter a really bad pun here. Is Medic the leader of the smash unit at Papio South?
If you want to say that, go ahead.
I just did.
I mean, do you think that Titans team is as good as these last championship teams, or are they going to maybe evolve into that by the end of the season?
You know, when I saw the team last year, they had Stella Adeyemi, who's at Hawaii now. Man, when she came in, she was a dominating presence, and I thought that last year's team was probably a little better than this year's team. I've talked to a couple coaches. They think that this year's team is better than last year's team, maybe because they're just a little bit more balanced. They're getting the effort from those freshmen, and, Medic is Medic. And Charlie Solomon does a really nice job, and the Dierstad sisters are really good too. So I could go on and on about that team, but hey, they're ranked 7th nationally, so I think that pretty much speaks for itself.
Exactly. And one thing you're going to get is consistency from those top leaders every match. So fun to watch. All right, guys, I think that will about do it for this week. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll be back to cover that first week of district action. Hopefully have a couple good games to talk about. We'll see. If not, thanks for listening today.